All right. Cool. Let me get these together. We got some mics. All right. Thank you guys for coming out. We have like 35 RSVPs, so I don't know where they're at or who's coming. We've not met before. The YouTube meetup is a relatively new track that we're adding, so the group's not as large as the other one. Seems to be growing fast in the sense of like RSVPs online, but the turnouts are still on the lower side. But we're not going to get rid of it. We're committed to growing it. It's a weekly thing we have going now, and little by little, we've been getting some regulars. So I'm thinking some of those regulars will come in. Throw into the mix also that it is a weird time of the year, and everyone's on like vacation mode, so that might impact it a little bit. I'm Carlos, normally Moises, who's, it sounds so like pretend, he's on my team. He's a friend of mine. He's also on the team, and he's the one that usually leads the charge in these meetups. Yep. For sure, thank you. Angie, bang. Bang, bang. Yeah. My daughter looks like she's joining us for a little bit. I have three YouTube channels. Two of them blessed to get the first plaque for over 100,000 subs. I have those plaques in there. I was going to bring them out as props, but I didn't get the time to run in there. One of those is a channel called Angelina and Carlos. She's Angelina, so she's the main actress on that YouTube channel. And if you look at one of the most popular videos on there, there is somebody wearing a black long sleeve Columbia shirt with a wolf mask, like a werewolf mask. That's me. And I'm happy to say that one got a lot of views. The other one is Wizards of Ecom. And I will say, if you look at those channels, that I'm pretty much going to recommend you do everything that I did not do, or that you don't do everything that I did on those channels. I did them without any coaches. It's cringeworthy when you look at them. What the Angelina and Carlos side just tapped into kids, and with kids, nothing really needs to make sense. The storyline could go from dinosaurs to Jell-O, and that's great. As a matter of fact, one of the more hotter things on YouTube right now in the kid space is brain rot, which is literally brain rot. Like it's mindless. So I think I had that on my side. And in the Wizards of Ecom, it's been just consistency. I've done it for so long, but I think I broke every single rule on there. And I'm happy to share all the takeaways I got from what I did wrong on them, so maybe you don't make them. We structure these events with like a beginner hour or like a beginner 30 minutes, and then we get into our topic of the week. This week's topic is how to make money even with very little subscribers. I think the title says with only a few hundred subscribers. I think a few hundred subscribers is a lot, right? So I didn't create that title. I would have just put a few subscribers. You have a few hundred subscribers, you know what this room would look like with a few hundred people in it? I know people that his entire livelihood is what they make in recurring monthlies off a few hundred subscribers. So if you want, we could talk about any questions you have that are purely beginner. In this beginner hour, again, I'm happy to share all the things that I did wrong. And then when we get close, once we've covered that a little bit, I'll get into today's actual topic. Since the group is small, what I'd love to do, we used to do this in the the prior meetup that you walked into is an Amazon seller meetup. When it was very small in the very beginning, we went around and said, what's everybody's goals? And as it gets bigger, that takes up too much time. But I think it would be cool if everybody just briefly said, like, I don't know, do you have a channel? Are you thinking about starting a channel? What's your experience or goals with YouTube, if any? You could totally be here I'm just curious, or I'm just supporting Carlos, which might be Ramon's. I don't know, but you guys want to go? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Eddie, and I'm here to support Chris because she has a really cool podcast, and I just don't say that because I'm her husband. It's just really cool, really interesting, and I want her to be. I know she's been successful in every avenue that she's pursued as a CFO, as a musician, as an artist.
As seeking a husband. She picked a winner as a husband too. She won. She's got good choices.
And I want her to be successful at her YouTube channel, and I think it's, again, I'm her #1 fan, and I'm here to support her.
I love it. You want to support the other half of that?
I do, because it's both of us, right? So like we're super supportive and everything. So yes, I have a podcast. You and I spoke briefly about that, and I'm a big believer in when you want to do something, you just start, right? You just start. He told me, maybe not Chris, maybe not that way, right? There's a way to go about it,
Sure.
but either way, I had the idea, I conceptualized it back in February, and I say 90 days to figure out if it's a goal you want to pursue or not, and then I just did it. I found guests, it's all about living your best life, but I have 176 subscribers that I don't know where they came from, but I guess there's interest somewhere there, but it's been growing like one a week, so I don't know the YouTube world. I just feel like I ask a bunch of questions that I feel other people have too.
Sure. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. What I will add about the growth rate, that is so normal
Yeah.
at that rate, and it takes you forever. I mean, 100,000 shouldn't even be a number that somebody even tries to get to. Like, I think that's kind of like we were talking about earlier. That might be a 15-year goal, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to take 15 years. You know what I mean? It's like that far-fetched. But it might take you forever to get to 100,000 subs. It'll take you a few months to get to 200,000 subs.
Yeah.
So it really starts picking up steam. So the growth rate you're on is actually really good for a podcast on YouTube.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
I've never run it.
and it's been less than 6 months,
Started July 2nd.
right? So like that's really good.
22 episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
22 episodes.
yeah, that's amazing.
Years married, 22 episodes. Maybe that's like a magic number.
Yeah, this one will go viral.
My name is John, and I finally figured out what to do my YouTube channel on, and it's something that has been a part of me for like the last 15 years since I started my business that was on Amazon. But it's helping stressed out business owners scale in a way to give them more freedom. Because when I started my business, I just became a full-time single parent. Anyone with kids, you got kids, I know you got kids. I had a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. Drove, and I grew an Amazon business at the same time. And then went to college full time. So those 3 things.
Wow.
All at once. And it wasn't easy, right? And so you only have so much time, and I had to figure out a way to do that. And so I created some frameworks, a lot of what we talked about.
Yep.
And so my YouTube channel is going to be teaching those frameworks in an entertaining and educational way.
Sounds great. Cool.
My name is Sean Grover. I'm in finance and real estate. I have a couple companies in Coral Gables. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I see people who do podcasts and how they integrate with like national news and issues going on. And I'm like, I want to learn how to do that. Because I see these young men and women talking about things that are just their opinions, but the way it comes across, you're giving the information that's happening today, and then you're sharing your opinions on it. And I'm like, man, I want to do that too. That looks so easy, but I don't know how to set it up. I can go on YouTube and make a video, but how do I integrate like the news into the video on the screen? So I'm hoping we can like jump into that sometime.
Yeah.
These evenings, just so I can see how they do it.
When
It
you
looks so fun.
when you're mentioning the integration, you mean like a clip of the visual thing from the news and inserting it?
Yes.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can get that it's like IP that you can't use. I'll try to find a link that I can send you that better explains it, but there's certain things you just can't use. Then there's other things that if you use it, that's okay, but your video can't monetize, meaning you can't make AdSense money off of it because you're getting somebody else's IP. Actually, the person who owns that IP will be who gets it. So if somebody owns the clip that you're using and you use the whole clip, then they will make money off any ads that are run on your channel. However, if you only use, don't quote me on this, but if you only use 3 seconds of that clip, you can still monetize and that clip can run. Or you could find that clip somewhere to where you could buy the rights to it, and from who you're getting it from, you just need to like plug the ID or something down in the comments. So when they're patrolling, they see, oh, this person's connected with.
But is that the same with like articles? Because I see a lot of them pulling articles. You slap it up on the screen, they highlight.
If it's public domain, you can use it. It's fair.
So is national news public domain, or how does that work?
I never use it, so I don't know.
Okay.
But my initial thought is yes, that it's public domain. It's been released out there into the news.
That's what a lot of these podcasters are doing. They're like, hey, you know, this is going on in New York with the new mayor, and this is going on in Florida with the governor trying to get rid of property taxes, and this is going on in Texas with the realigning of the districts and everything. This is going on in California, and they're pulling the content from national news, and then they're just making their comments about it. So is that public domain? Or
I believe it's public domain, but you could just check it out. Like I would look.
I don't even know how.
No, I would just put I would just ask ChatGPT as a starting spot. I would ask ChatGPT, but I'm pretty sure you're good. If I can't imagine that like if it was a Bloomberg article that you need a paid subscription to access, you got your paid subscription and now you're blasting all of it on the web, but it's gated behind money, then I think that's an issue. But if it's something that's out there on the web that anyone can consume for free, then it's public domain. I mean, that sounds like the very definition of public domain. But I have a GED, so like I would check it. I would check it out.
So with the podcasting and the integration, will you be going over how those things?
I'll go over, like, we're gonna go over everybody, like a little quick thing on everybody, but that sounds like a perfect question for this. Like, I do podcasts, I do YouTube, I do a lot of different forms of content, but the niche that really pushes the limit on that is vocal coaches, like singing coaches. And what they'll do is they'll play a clip of a song, a full song, and the video and everything of someone singing. And they'll play it for just right about, say, 30 seconds. And at 29 seconds, they stop and then they give their feedback. The reason they do the stops, not to mention it's a good experience, but the reason they do those stops is because they're not allowed to play more than X amount of time without a stop. Otherwise, it's no longer their content. But we could totally get into that. Bruce?
My name is Bruce, and my use of YouTube right now is strictly for company product knowledge. In other words, I manufacture products for in sleep apnea space, and I have YouTube videos that describe how the products are used.
Cool. Love it. Thank you, Bruce. Ramon. The loud noise you hear is Ramon's kids, not mine, just so you know.
Yeah, my name is Ramon. I'm mainly here supporting my gay best friend. But, other than that, nothing wrong with that.
Oh.
But I am about to launch a course in Kajabi, and I do want short form to be part of my strategy, short form in YouTube. So it's always great to learn and understand a little better of where we're going with this.
I love it. Thank you. Dad?
Calling you out?
Dad. Oh, by the way, this is my dad, by the way, for those who don't know him, in the corner. That's what I say at the airport. We're like, Dad, wait for me. Everybody looks.
Why you today?
It's all the time. It's just like,
How you do it?
yeah, when he says that at the airport, there's like 60 kids that all turn around.
Yeah.
Or there's 60 dads, I know.
Yeah.
My name is Tom. I'm almost close to launching a finance channel. I'm a financial advisor by trade. That's what I do. So, finance channel teaching people about money, managing money, protecting money, growing money. So,
Yeah.
I have the channel open, I have the scripts done, I have the thumbnails done. I just have to record the content.
I would interject because he's rarely modest. Normally he's on the opposite extreme of that. But he The long form content, I think you were asking as he started it, he hasn't. But his shorts, which yours cover very much specifically finance related stuff, that has.
Yeah, I've done like 70 shorts.
Yeah, if you look up
Tom Money
Magic
Maze.
Mike, what is, no,
Magic Money.
no, Tom Money Maze, right? If you look up Tom Money Maze on TikTok or Instagram, it'll come up. Good quality stuff. He's also, one of his other companies is the Miles Academy, which is also a sponsor. You see how he got that tiny little magnet to not really look gaudy or anything to go on our whiteboard. I said a little magnet. So he got a bigger board and to fit a larger magnet. But gotta love it. All right. Questions. We can go into some of those questions you had, or anybody have any like beginner related YouTube questions? Like now would be that time before we get into the topic of the week. How to make, yep, let's do it.
Because I would say, especially for someone who hasn't started yet, I know that you mentioned before that there are certain don'ts before you start publishing.
Yes. Some of the not so obvious ones that are the easiest things to fall into is mixed mediums. So if you have a long form content channel, you don't want to post shorts on that channel, right? And to determine whether you have poisoned the channel, if you will, too much, go into your analytics. You mentioned 178 subscribers. What would be dangerous is if you had shorts on the channel,
Yeah.
and you saw that maybe 150 of those subs, like an overwhelming amount came from the shorts, or almost all your views come from the shorts, not the long form. What you'd want to do in that case is you'd want to remove the shorts, create like your channel's called what?
Chris Sinise podcast.
Chris Sinise? Chris Sinise podcast.
Yeah.
You'd want to do Chris Sinise podcast shorts, separate channel. Post all the shorts you want, even if they come from your podcast here, and then just have a link directing them to the longer form channel. The people that do want to cross over, it seems the people that will act on I mean, how many times have you watched a short and then gone to a link in the short? Rare. The people that do that are also the people that will consume shorts that also consume long form content. But a lot of people that consume shorts, especially like a younger generation, someone will say, you know, there's a new type of short out there, but it's horizontal and it goes on longer. Like they don't, you know, it's a different breed. Yes, it's a different breed, and what it does is anytime you put a long form piece up there, your short form audience, that's the majority of them, they don't consume it. And when they don't consume it, you're seeing, oh my God, my long form sucks according to YouTube because it doesn't get anywhere.
Right.
But in reality, YouTube is first serving it to the people who've showed interest in it, not differentiating between shorts and long form, and they're saying, well, those people don't like it, let's not continue showing it. So that's one bad one. Another medium, that's why I say look at the Wizards of Ecom YouTube channel and you'll get it, is live. Live is fantastic. Going live is absolutely fantastic. Have a separate channel for live if it's going to be something you do consistently. Because the people that will consume live content, they usually don't consume either of the others. Or if they do, there's more of an affinity towards long form, not shorts. So you'd want three, that sounds like a lot more work.
So can you mix lives and long form?
No, the only way you mix, the only platform that you can have your lives going on at the same time as your other type of content, which in this case would be shorts, is TikTok. And the reason for that is your lives don't exist after they're done. You don't see a past of all the lives. It's like this live's over with, that's done, we're gone. So it doesn't impact what's there. So that's the only exception currently, and that's more of like a platform quirk that creates that. The day that they keep the lives showing up, and there's an option to do it, is the day you'd want to separate them.
YouTube, live,
No.
separate channel.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to go live once for some big announcement, or you've decided you're going to host a webinar on YouTube or something, and it's going to push a business objective, or you have this guest that's on your like Dream 100 list that there's no way you'd get it, and you want your audience to be able to see this thing live happening, go live. Go live on the long form channel, not the shorts, and then remove it afterwards or unlist it on your YouTube channel. Yeah, get it off the channel. because it'll just hurt your channel. So those three mixed mediums. The other one has to do with the style of your videos. If you have, say, I don't know, this doesn't really apply to finance, but you'll get it. You have POV, like point of view. You have talking head, which is the very typical one. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the camera. Those are not the same two audiences. You have some that are like the scroll. They're not like a Star Wars scroll, but they have a lot of text stuff, and then they say something motivational, and they move on different platforms. The people that subscribe to those and follow those are not the ones that do the other two. And you're training the algorithm to find people for the types of content that you put out. So get into one and stick to that one, or decide that didn't work for me and switch to another. Don't mix them. The other medium to watch out for is, especially having to do with podcasts. And this is a painful one because I mean, I've podcasted for years, over 400 episodes just on the English one. And when I started, nobody watched podcasts. Nobody said they just watched a podcast. Now, that's almost the default. I watched your podcast. To me, podcast is an audio format. You listen to podcasts. But a lot of, like, Diary of the CEO, and a lot of other great ones, Joe Rogan, you watch those shows mostly, those podcasts. So how that's really helped podcasts is that podcast is one of the most, I create content on every medium there is. Blogs, audio, video. Podcast audio is the hardest one to grow out of all of them. You have to love it. There has to be like an element of passion that you love doing. There's got to be some curiosity that you have to do it. Otherwise, you flame out. There is no search engine algorithm or browser to help surface your audio podcasts. No one goes and searches within Apple a bunch of keywords to surface your episode. So what happens is Spotify and YouTube are really leading the charge. YouTube is a search engine. YouTube will serve you stuff up on your homepage. Something on here? Yeah, this is a good one. Coach Shanik, I'll answer that in a second. So a lot of podcasters immediately were just like, well, I got all this content. I recorded on Zoom, let's say. Zoom just gives me this video file by default. Let me just drop that video file on YouTube. Even if I get 5 more subscribers, like, that's good. Two issues with that. One, in the event that your Zoom video starts doing really good on YouTube, first of all, it's so rare that would happen. But in the event that it did, if you go back and look at your metrics and the few times we did a little better in that way, we did the equivalent worse on the podcast. And what it is it's just one of your listeners that now found it over here and they stopped listening over here, so you start falling in the charts on the audio side. And if the audio is your priority, reposting or repurposing these in a video format is not actually in alignment with the goals of growing your audio side of your podcast. The other one is podcasters, I think we touched on this, podcasters have a tendency that are like, I'm not gonna be a fake podcast, I'm gonna be an authentic one, we're gonna have a natural conversation. Which also is kind of convenient because it forces you not have to remove a bunch of ums and ahs, it lets you be a little more relaxed, and I personally like those shows. The people that go to YouTube to watch something, for the most part, unless it's a guest or two that they enjoy the banter, or there's a backstory there that they're aware of, no. They don't have their time wasted. They want to like, show me where are you going with this? Why did you just sidetrack on something that happened on a vacation between two of you guys 3 years ago? The same rules don't apply when it comes to video. So what happens is if you decide, I'm not going to have an audio first podcast, I want to have a video first podcast, there's a degree of production or pre-production that has to go into the video. So instead of having a natural podcast, you need to start thinking about what are the things, the hooks, because now we're talking about video, what are the hooks that are going to get people to be here, and what are the questions that I need to ask to deliver on what I promised in my thumbnail and on the show, right? So a flow that works there, and then when you get them, all these questions were answered, and then you can organize them in different ways, insert B-roll, and create a more video first thing on YouTube that's more receptive to guests. But you're increasing your production value, cost, when you do that. So that's, those are some of the hurdles that come with that. But if you're posting Zoom-like videos on your YouTube channel, those don't count as talking head videos. That's a whole different type of medium, and it's probably one of the least, the ones that are received worse by YouTube's audience, because it's communicating like it's kind of like if you were watching someone on TikTok and on Instagram, and all their Instagrams had the TikTok watermark on it. You'd be like, the person didn't even create for this platform. The person just reposted it. Like it's not the same. And that's the effect that like Zoom and a little bit of Riverside and some of these other ones have on YouTube. So that would be some of the year. Another one would be stay away from promoting paid promotions of your show. I did a bit of this on the Wizards of Ecom one. And as an ad person, like for example, you have a Facebook page. You want to get more exposure to your Facebook page, and Facebook's giving you an option to run an ad at only $10 a day and pick an audience to grow your Facebook page. YouTube has an equivalent one, but their audience is more like Google. So, well, go figure, it's more like Google. They are Google. It's more like Google Ads. When you run Google Ads, if I run, like say I used to do something called, it's like a service ad arbitrage. And what I would do is I'd be like, okay, pool cleaning services in Miami, that's super competitive. But pool cleaning services in North Dakota, like almost nothing. So I spin something up and I start creating a site about a service that offers pool cleaning services in North Dakota. And I know how to play the SEO game, and I'm covering all the bases, and I'm ranking. And now when somebody in North Dakota is searching for pool cleaning services in North Dakota, I'm surfacing. But I have a rail number that when called, I have the ability to forward that to someone else or receive it. So initially I'd receive it and I'd say, hi, so-and-so, they tell me what they need. I was like, oh, we're booked. We're completely slammed. We have somebody that we refer these to if you don't mind. I know you want to get this done, but great customer service. They believe me. I call somebody else and say, hey, we offer this service in the area, but we have somebody that is needing this. Do you mind if I just pass you this lead? And they're like, yeah, pass them the lead. Once I get that consistently, I then approach the person and I'm like, hey, I'll give you 15 leads a month for X amount of dollars. And because I know that I'm dominating the search, so I would make money off of that, and I would just do that across the United States. So what I discovered is that when somebody goes to Google and looks for pool cleaning services, anything, the people that click on the organic placement and book a call are a totally different type of person than the person that clicks the ad. The person that clicks the organic, they show up, they're serious, you're gonna get the business. The ad, you have no idea if they're gonna show up. They're gonna beat you to death on price. And it's just a totally different breed of person. So when you go to promote a YouTube video, you're gonna rapidly get subscribers, you're gonna rapidly get views, it's gonna look great. If you're looking for a brand deal, it's gonna look fantastic. They're gonna be like, your channel's banging. But the type of people you're bringing in are not the type of people you probably want. So it's gonna hurt your channel long term because the next video you go to create, they're gonna put it out to that audience and it's not gonna perform as it should. And YouTube releases videos in stages, and every stage gets bigger. Performs well in this stage, send it to the next one, and that gets more. And if it keeps going, you go viral. But those are some major ones. I mean, there's a lot more, but those are the ones that I think most people fall into. Most people immediately fall into the trap of let's have shorts and long form on the same channel. Yeah. Does that make sense to anyone? Okay. Coach Shanique said, my shorts are doing well, but not my actual YouTube videos. If they're on the same channel, it's because I'm willing to bet that an overwhelming amount of those views and subscribers you have on your channel are from the shorts, and those people don't consume long form video content. Or maybe they do, but not your type of content. Your type of content, they prefer to do it in shorts. So now when you're putting out one of your long form videos, Shanique, they're like, no, not interested, and they're just bailing. Or they're not clicking, which is worse. You have two types of YouTube videos. You have, you want to do intent, which is how to fix Honeywell thermostat. And then you have browser-based, which is nobody searches for, you have 30 minutes to dive into an ocean full of sharks and find 50 suitcases full of money, but that's what Mr. Beast does. Nobody searches for that, so how does he surface? He surfaces because he shows up on the home page, in the browser page when you first go into YouTube, and that's where YouTube serves you up stuff. Where you get growth is getting served up there. Not because somebody's searching for, you know, some topic that you're talking about in the video. So the goal is to frame your episode, the title and the thumbnail, to be appealing for a browser, for the home page on YouTube, for like browse-based YouTube videos, which is doable. It just requires training another muscle for a little bit, that's it. I actually find it to be more exciting, actually, but it's going to require you to like retrain how you're approaching your content a little bit. Yeah. That was a lot. What else?
What are your thoughts on like someone just starting creating like the default mind of creating YouTube videos? I want to get a lot of subscribers and a lot of views and make money. And the other side is going into it, having 20 subscribers, but having an offer on the back end.
I think you should have an offer. Well, I've learned from 1,600 events and doing it, because I love creating content. I love in-person as a form of content, IRL. That, and my kind of like my badge that I held is ours are free. Everything's free. As a matter of fact, you come in here and you eat for free too. Like everything's free. We're like absurdly on that side. Free parking, free. I've turned down locations if they charge for parking. I was like, everything needs to be free. The problem is when you're on a high as a content creator, that works. But you're not on a high all the time. And when you're on a low and the views aren't working for you and everything else, creating content, first of all, has a cost. And it's taking away time that could be used towards something else. So it's an investment. When you want to have some sort of like economic engine going on in that whole thing, for you to, at least on the low times, to say, wait a minute, like, you can't just do this. So-and-so works full-time for me doing this, and there's a whole bunch of other things that are reliant on this, or I'm making X amount of dollars on that. Kind of suck it up a little bit and just go. It makes it easier. Most people quit because they don't have that piece going on. So I think you should be clear on what you could sell in the beginning when you start. It doesn't have to be your flagship product down the road. You should be clear on what you could sell. I would start with, and we'll get into a little more of that when we get into the main topic. I get into something really cheap, like a $7 offer. Was it Brendan Burchard that had a structure that I like a lot as like a placeholder, which is a free long form high value content, right? This is what it pretty much is, free long form high value content and an offer. But you got to figure out how to go from free and talk about your offer. So you have a bridge, which is email. This is the best explanation I've ever heard of it, right? So how do you get people on the bridge? Lead magnets, my checklist, my recipe thing, the 3 best spots to get X, links in the description, right? So you're not selling. You need to be careful on how you do it so it sounds like it's not selling. And you just want to give that person that great free thing. And the more compelling that free thing is that you're offering, and this is how you know you're close to that, because you're telling somebody what you're giving away for. You're an idiot. You know how much you could sell that for? You know how many people would buy that? That's how you know you got a good free thing. And that's the free thing. A bunch of people are going to get it. A big percentage of the people you have. So even if you have 300 people, you're getting 200 that are going to get it. 200 are going to get it, and when they get it, they're going to immediately get on an email sequence that's going to lead them to a sale. And then keep cycling them. But that's, yeah, so you want to take them to a $7 offer, try to get them on something like a $50 continuity. If you can build something, you don't have to have all this built out at the beginning, but something recurring. And then you can have a bunch of 250 to 1,000 offers, and then try to have something, 10,000 and above. But it'll if you don't know what that thing is right now, you will with time. Like you'll know it because they're asking for it. And that's the easiest way. But it's gonna be a lot easier for you as a new channel to sell a $7 thing, right? So I recommend having an idea of what you could at least start selling, and that would influence your content a little bit. Like you mentioned frameworks and stuff that really helped you out. So your content's gonna be about that. I would get like one of your frameworks and then go into ChatGPT and say, can you turn this into an acronym that sounds like really catchy and that also spells a real word? You know what I mean? Like, So you got that, and you're like, your trident method. And then you're gonna be like, I have my trident checklist below that'll help you do blah, 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 blah. Or you go to something like Calconic, and it'll let you create a calculator for like nothing. And then you have a calculator that connects you, like if you're gonna do a channel on divorce, right? You have a divorce profit and loss calculator, like calculate what this is gonna look like if it happens. And you can pre-build most of that stuff in Calconic pretty cheap. And then everyone's like, oh my God, I need this calculator. I don't wanna get caught going to go talk to a lawyer. This sounds a lot cheaper than a lawyer. They're gonna get the magnet, they're gonna get this calculator, and then they're in your mix. So that's the best flow that I know.
One of my friends has a community in school where he teaches people about credit, how to get out of bad or get a better credit score. And there's lots of those people out there. So if you wanted to collaborate with me about credit card points and miles, not my audience. I'm looking for people that up to his credit and get their credit card, not the other way around. But what he does to acquire new people is he goes on TikTok Live. And he'll do it every Tuesday and Thursday, TikTok Live, and he'll just broadcast. And he'll have a whiteboard, kind of pre-done whiteboard, and he just simply loops through the steps that people need to do. And then 10 minutes later, he does it again. And if you, hey, listen, if you want to join my free school or join my school, I'll teach you how. The first 2 weeks are free. After that, it's $39.99. So he's and I'm like, well, how many do you get the first time you go on TikTok Live? And he goes, I get between 60 and 80 new customers by doing TikTok Live. I don't know what he's pretty dynamic, so if I got half of that, I'd be happy to do it. But that to me is a free flow of people. Obviously, you have to have a good offer and tell people, are you in this basket or that basket, or how bad is your credit and how good do you want it to be? How much time do you have? I'll show you how to do it without hiring lawyers and all that kind of spiel that you work up. But I think that TikTok Live, I was talking to Carlos about this, like, Facebook ads are expensive. Just to get people to get your free whatever, you still have to pay $2, $3, $4 to get that person. TikTok Live is free.
You get paid.
And you can probably monetize that channel, because the more people that are on that live stream, TikTok hits you back a little money too. So that may be your way of just acquiring new people, is just getting comfortable of like, think of it like an infomercial where like every 15 minutes you're just like, all right, starting all over again. So you're not really having to do something for a full hour. It's just maybe 4 times where you're looping through the thing. And
Oh, he just repeats like.
that's it.
Yeah.
An hour on the same
Well, that's what live streamers do.
People are coming in and out.
Right.
People are coming in and out of the live stream. It's not like you're now sitting in this boring webinar for an hour. It's 15 minutes of his commercial, and then does it again. And you just ask for their email, and I'm sure he's got some type of email collector there that sends them a, hey, welcome aboard, or you want, here's my link to school. Here it is. Click out, there's a link. And then inside school is where he does his thing.
On TikTok, I went live 15 minutes a day for 6 days, so an hour and a half total. TikTok paid us $40. Wow. Right?
Well, and it's like you said, it's not always the same audience.
Right.
Each time you go, it's like different.
Yeah.
And depending on the time of day too, I'm assuming
Yeah.
like a bunch of different reasons
Yeah,
why.
and maybe you want to do something like that TikTok Live for your podcast channel to get new viewers from your podcast channel. Maybe you want to give them a checklist of life hacks or how to start off the new year or whatever that would be, and then you're going to talk about that on your podcast or follow me on my podcast. I'm just like
Yeah.
trying to come up with
TikTok's one of the best ways to get rapid growth. I think it's one of the worst channels to make meaningful money. Like I'd put YouTube as the side of like, that's where you're gonna make some money. You're gonna make a career amount of money. TikTok's more, it's the cheapest way to get a whole bunch of people right now aware of your thing. So that guy's getting a whole bunch of cheap awareness to an offer, and then he's selling them on that offer. So that's.
Would TikTok to YouTube make sense?
I think
You mentioned school, but.
Well, in this case, you have a podcast, right? So say you have a podcast, and he's talking about an offer, but if you have a podcast, one of the quickest ways to grow your podcast isn't just having an audio podcast, we've determined, and having it on YouTube has a slow growth to it, natural, but it's a very slow growth. If you clip it and you were to put that same thing, assuming the clips look nice, and you put that on TikTok, that's gonna be your fastest way to grow the podcast. like to get people to get a now when they know about the podcast, it says it's a podcast, they're gonna have the option, am I gonna go check this out on my audio podcast player or am I gonna consume it on video? More people are going to video now. So that means they're going to YouTube. So that's like an indirect on how they would go.
Do you understand the Clippers part of it?
The what?
Clippers? So people use, we can.
Come on, clipping your
So I'm gonna pick on Joe Rogan, right? I would imagine that most of his viewers came back in just the audio days, but now I only watch his podcast when I can watch it because I still like his facial expressions or whatever they're smoking or whatever they're kind of like, I think that helps too. But there are people that will, that will clip the highlights out of it. Those are called clippers. So you could have lots of clippers that clip the highlights and post for you
Yeah.
of your podcast to help you further your growth. It'll just be like some like you will not believe what this guy said this on in the pod. I'm like, that was a short. I gotta watch the long form. So clippers will do that. So you can hire clippers that take a long form and they clip it up in lots of different short forms. So you could probably, I don't know if Carl disagrees on me, but that maybe, I don't know, almost like intentionally put in a clippable moment, you know? Somebody slamming the table or, oh my God, you know, Martha Stewart did what? You know, I don't know, whatever. So those clippable moments can become your shorts, which then help you along, right?
Sure.
And you can go on like websites like WHOP, W-H-O-P, and you can find clippers galore. So some of these bigger podcasts hire multiple clippers.
Yeah, I think Aisha was speaking to that guy or one of those guys, Kai Sanat, that's what they do.
And they'll hire these clippers. Now, remember, clippers on their own can make money. So there's clippers out there like crazy.
People are spending like $1,500 to $3,000 a month, but the clipper are only charging
Sometimes the clippers don't charge the podcast.
$5 to $10.
Clip on their own. The more views they get paid from those social media channels.
Yeah.
Those are clippers. So as you host people on your long form, clippable moments.
Is that like that guy with the mayonnaise bottle in the back? You know who I'm talking about?
No,
The
mayonnaise.
I don't know what it is, but he makes the clip and then he just sits there and he's got like a jar of mayonnaise here. Like I guess that's his thing, is that he's got a jar of mayonnaise and then he's just taking someone else's clip and all he's doing is like nodding.
Right, so a lot of these clippers will take Bruce's product or Carlos's product, and they'll say, the front of it will be Joe Rogan going, hey, have you seen this clip? Did you see what happened? Oh, check out this. Have you seen that clip over and over and over again? That's the clip with Joe Rogan, but it talks about, I don't know, duck soap or something, you know, whatever.
Yeah. No, a lot of cool ways to go about it. Any other questions about like beginner stuff or getting started? You had a few.
Yeah, how do you get started?
Um,
I mean, setting up the channel's not an issue.
right.
That is, who is your audience?
Finance and real estate.
Who's your audience? Who's your customer?
The avatar.
Is it first-time home buyers? Is it like it's really dialing in?
High net worth individuals.
Got it. Male or female?
Both.
Male or female?
Yeah, you want to speak to one because if you're creating content and you say
Age?
whether you're a man or a woman, if you keep saying that either time, it doesn't come across the same. But if you speak, a lot of times it's easier to speak to the same sex that you are. But when you're talking about this, if you're talking to like, come on guys.
Well, the thing is, if you go to your analytics, you can say, well, you were talking about TikTok. I run TikTok and I put out a post, I wait a couple days, I go and I look at the analytics, and it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that if you're speaking to men, and I'm just it doesn't mean if you speak to men that women won't also listen to the content and say, I know he's saying, masculine, he's conjugating like to the men, but like this applies to me.
My content is more, I'm not talking about man or woman, I'm talking about content.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. All I'm trying to point out is that in your head, that you need to be speaking to this person. Even though your audience may be that big, so you need to define that, and it'll help you when you're actually making your content. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's
Well, I don't have
chauvinistic.
any problem with my content, my content does well. The thing is, how to set up all the infrastructures and stuff. Because, I mean, I can drop something on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and I can get 1,000 views. But if I'm, but that short form, right, it's just, you know, a little quick informational stuff. But to transfer it over to YouTube, create long form, I mean, I'll put the content out there. I won't narrow it down until I start seeing what the traffic is, then I can start tightening it up.
I mean, two things there. One, the structure that I believe would work is free long form, high value content. So it's don't sell in your long form video on YouTube. Don't sell in the video. Keep it free. The only thing you're possibly selling on in some videos is the idea that there's a downloadable link in the description. Right. And what, like, a checklist on what people need to know before buying a home for X. Like, you would know your industry better. Like, whatever that is, and AI could be your friend there. But whatever that is, let's say it's a checklist, right? You're gonna mention it at some point in a video that's relevant to that topic and say, I created a checklist for you that I don't know, give away to whatever one, or that has helped me, whatever, in the description below. They're gonna go to a link that you left in the description below. That's gonna take them to a landing page, so a web page, whatever, and it's gonna have a way for them to put their email in. So
I have all that already structured.
So what part?
Just like I said, if I'm doing a podcast and I want to engage with information to make it clear for the viewer, you know, I can talk in front of a video all day long, but I want to use content that's relevant to what I'm trying to get across.
It sounds like the 4A's that we're
I
talking
don't
about.
know. I mean,
Like, you don't know where to start to, like,
I don't know.
film
So like, have any of you heard of like CoffeeZilla?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so something like him, he's just standing, he's sitting in front of his little microphone, he's talking, but he's pulling in content to saying, hey, this, and this.
So I'm in a group with CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla has several people on his team that are full-time researchers.
I get it, and I can imagine that, but to get started, you know, I just need to know how I'm doing the video, how it's gonna pop up on YouTube from another YouTube I watched.
That's editing. That's B-roll. That's B-roll.
But does that happen in YouTube, or does that happen outside of YouTube, and then you?
That's outside. An editor's doing that outside of YouTube, and you're putting it in.
See, that was my disconnect, because I'm on YouTube, I'm like, how do I put these things together? I'm watching the video, but how do I get that video on YouTube?
Or like a reaction video and stuff like that. No, you're grabbing the video. You know, an editor's.
How do I take it off of YouTube?
How?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of tools that'll let you download a YouTube video that's on YouTube.
Do you know what they are?
Offhand, no. No, because my editor will be the one that does it.
And I guess I did.
The other thing we do sometimes for stuff like that is the video that I'm reacting to, I'll have the volume dropped on it, right?
Okay.
And then I'll hold the phone and I'm reacting to it. I'm being filmed and I'm reacting it just for workflow purposes. I'm reacting to this thing perfectly in real time. But the editor is going to show that same video out, but it's synced. So it's just a workflow trick.
Okay.
But the editors handle that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't following, you guys got it right away, maybe I was asleep. What is he asking? Because I didn't put it down.
How to connect certain things. So like how to have B-roll pop up on screen. If he wants to do a breakdown of the top miles channels on the web, and when he's referencing yours, how to get yours to pop up.
or like even a suggestion. Is this something you plan on doing entirely yourself?
I wouldn't do that.
Well, no. I mean,
I know mine's very low budget. but
Listen, I've been going upwards and hired an editor.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Right,
But I mean, I have the idea of all the content and everything.
yeah.
I just didn't know.
Oh, it's an editor.
It's an editor.
Yeah, it's an editor.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just want to.
Listen, but I mean, this is the guru here, right? Now, I'm glad you're here, all this, but I'm just gonna tell you,
Yeah.
trying to learn it.
No, I don't want to, that's what
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm
yeah.
I'm learn all this stuff. By the time I learn it all, I'll be dead.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hire somebody else to shorten that learning curve.
Absolutely.
But not all editors are created equal.
Yeah.
100%.
So you gotta make sure that they do the stuff that you want them to do. So you need to, what I've done in the past is I'll hire a couple of them and give them the same thing.
Mm.
Say, this is what I want you to do, kind of as a test. I'll pay them each, and I'll see which one I like.
Yeah.
And then we go with that. And then I direct.
So I create the video of the content, like I'm gonna be talking about something. And let's say right now, Governor DeSantis is trying to get rid of property taxes in the state of Florida for all people that own primary homeowners. I'm hoping that happens. So I talk about that.
Yep.
And I have an article that I'm getting the information from. I create the video of me talking about it, and then I pass my video and that article to a few editors.
Yes.
Hey, throw this stuff together and let me see.
Yes, but you're missing a piece that's gonna just, like apocalypse is gonna happen when you do that.
Okay.
Because they're gonna edit it and they're gonna send it to you and nothing is gonna sync where you want it. So what you should, what I think you should, what I do is, and this is gonna depend on when you record your videos, I use a teleprompter. I know what I'm talking about, I don't need to read it, but it cuts down dramatically. And you can see it afterwards, I got my setup in that room, but like, every time you gotta look away or you're not making, if you're talking about something and it's that important as like finance and how, you wanna make eye contact. You don't wanna look like you're looking over here for the card that says what you should say next and the bullet, and it makes it to where the editing process is a lot smoother. But whether you're doing a teleprompter or not, you should at least script out chunks, or if you're doing a teleprompter, all what you're gonna do. So once you have your script done before you've recorded, or your working doc, what you're gonna do for the editor, and I do this while you're doing it because it's in your head. You're talking about the DeSantis part. You know the article you have in your head. I use a Google Doc. I highlight it, I create a comment out of it, I link to it, I show what I want to pull up. Here's the reference YouTube video where I'm talking about. Here's a screenshot of the scene, and you're building this out. If you reference any books throughout the whole thing, I'll do the same thing. Here's a link to the book I'm talking about because I might want a visual of the book to pop up. So the editor doesn't also have to do research and doesn't also have to become super knowledgeable of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you're depending on that person to go find other DeSantis articles that may be the ones you're referencing.
I use CapCut, so for my videos, I can do all those pop-ups.
We're using CapCut for shorts. CapCut's gonna break on you badly when you get into long form content.
I do like 3 to 5 minute videos on there.
Yeah. Whoever editor you're working with, they're probably not gonna use CapCut. They're probably gonna use Premiere Pro.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so like, throwing up a book, say, hey, get this book, and pointing up like that, I can pop up a book there.
Your editor's gonna make you look so pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna have ums and ahs through the whole thing, you're gonna redo it again, you're gonna redo it again. You're gonna say, listen, Governor DeSantis, and then you're gonna tell in your Google Doc that you give them, at this point in time, here's the image of Governor DeSantis, so I want you to pull up on the screen. Here's, I'm talking about Florida real estate, and there's an aerial view of some B-roll footage
Yeah,
of
that's what
real
I
estate
need.
at home, right?
That's
So
what I want.
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna do. And if you're gonna make content, what is it 7 minutes or 8 minutes in YouTube to get a commercial?
10. 10 minutes gives you your first major ad break.
So you need,
You can get ads inserted beforehand, but where you get paid really good on AdSense is your first 10-minute ad break.
so you wanna have your YouTube videos be at least that long, so you can make some money back from YouTube.
Okay.
Right,
See,
that's
I
why.
didn't know that.
That's
10 minutes or more.
No, but Bruce pointed, there's other ads that get inserted, but they don't pay the same amount per ad that's in there. Like once you get to the 10-minute mark, or you have a 10-minute video, they might insert it before. It allows you to insert an ad in that's gonna actually get you something. But you can see ads pop up in 6-7 minute videos sometimes, but you're not gonna get paid almost anything.
So the good news is you're in the highest generating channel.
Yeah.
In terms of YouTube paying.
Category, yeah. Finance.
Yeah, and I think I can talk for 25, 30 minutes with ease, and the stuff that I'm very comfortable talking about. So I just need that editing side.
Yeah.
For me just to talk about it.
They'll make you look so pretty.
It's gonna be it'd be a major unlock. It really is. It's a major unlock.
Trust me when I tell you, use a teleprompter.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's fine. But,
Don't go over it. Use a teleprompter.
yeah, I got a teleprompter in my phone here.
You can rattle all you
Yeah.
want, but you give your editor a little bit more
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I mean, can I be introduced to some of these editors, or that's okay?
I'm happy to introduce you to mine.
Okay.
The only downside is they stay slammed with work. So they're gonna,
I'm not telling you they're unicorns, they're very different. Please do not go to India.
Go where?
To India.
yeah.
To get an editor. Or the Philippines to get an editor. Don't go on Fiverr to get an editor. Try to get somebody, South America might be a good place for you to go, find somebody.
And how do you determine that? I mean, what is your history and the fact that you went?
Because I've seen Indian editors just absolutely digging back freaking garbage. So I actually took a
All of them?
4.5 hour course that I had to get re-edited again.
4.5 hours.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot.
Mine's in Buenos Aires, actually.
A lot of mine are from Buenos Aires. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
So when I'm on Upworks, I just go to.
I don't even do that. We go to LinkedIn.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Be specific, Buenos Aires and what Bogota, things that you're using.
Bogota's good. There's a few other areas around Colombia. You're just trying to find things in like Central South America that are around higher education areas. Like you could go to either one of those countries and go way off the map and get bad.
All right, and when I'm doing the search, I just look for the word editor or?
Video editor.
Video editor.
Yeah. The other thing I would do, and I used to only avoid this because of how much work it requires, is create, and now AI will just do amazing, but create a really nice scope of work that you give to the editor. Because what you're going to give the editor is going to be, I just want this to pop or something like that. And that's not good instruction, but a scope of work is going to include things like give examples of the types of effects that you like on your videos, the types of music you like and don't like. And the more you feed that person, that editor, and the more that's baked into that scope of work, the more when you need to switch editors, you can pass it to somebody else. It's a lot more work. It's not easy, but it's a lot more work up front, but it's going to simplify your life a lot afterwards, and you're never going to be like a hostage of some editor because you're like, oh my God, they're going to leave me and I'll never be able to get somebody else that knows what this person knows. Yeah.
Thanks, thank you guys.
Yeah. And the other thing about I would agree. I've never had, and we're all equal. We're all amazing people, all humans and all that there, but I have never had a good experience hiring from India. I have a lot of small businesses and different size businesses, but a total of like 51 different businesses. And we have 242 virtual assistants and 81 domestic employees across all of it. So to have that much in the way of staff and means I've hired thousands that just over the years. And with all that, we've not had any good experiences out of India.
Well, let me
India and Pakistan, both of them, we have just really, really bad experience. Best pricing.
let me just make that time out. I mean, I have an Indian person that I work with that does A+ content and stuff for my Amazon brand, and they do a fantastic job.
Dobby ads.
Just being,
Yeah.
Dobby. I'm just being very specific when it comes to video editors, and I think you probably want somebody in your own time zone.
Yeah.
Help with the transition back and forth. So,
Well,
more the
I
time
don't know
zone.
if that's necessary, because it's not like there would be any urgency on the, having things done. I mean, I'm going to get a time span of whether I say.
You're gonna, sorry to interrupt, but you're gonna want a little bit of flow. Hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, instead of waiting 12 hours
Yeah, I
until the
got you,
next
I got
day. And then the market's gonna correct, you're gonna be a busy client, things gonna pass away, and then you're gonna be like, oh shit, where was I? And then you lost that whole momentum. I'm just giving you some experience in what.
This is why I'm here. I want to figure it out. I know there's a lot of money on YouTube. I just can't figure it out by myself. So, these little tidbits I'm going to take home.
We haven't even gotten into thumbnails and titles.
Yeah. Well, I heard you mention that earlier, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what that is. So.
You may have the most amazing content. You may have dropped some
It
great.
is.
I'm sure. Right? But if I'm on YouTube and I've got Mr. Beast chasing a freaking alligator and blowing up a Ferrari as my distraction.
I can do it.
Okay, but how do I find you? So there's a thumbnail.
Yes.
Has to be something that grabs my attention.
And is that the first thing you see? I mean, I don't know.
That's the first thing that someone
But
sees.
how do they get to the thumbnail initially? If I'm on
Go on,
YouTube,
go on YouTube and search for something.
I just search for something. Okay, I got you.
I would also challenge you to open up a dummy account.
Mm-hmm.
So a second
All
YouTube
my
account.
accounts are dummy.
No, but this is different.
So open up a second account.
Yes.
A brand new account.
Yes.
Do not search for anything else for finance channels that are related to each other. Because right now, your YouTube channel, your algorithm is so effed up. You know, it was about how do I unplug my sink, my car charger, how did I get here, my Mr. Beast video. So that algorithm is sending you all kinds of different stuff. Over on this channel, if you're only asking for finance stuff, it's only feeding you finance stuff. Watch the videos all the way through, comment, thumb them up, subscribe, like them, you know, and you're telling that algorithm, you're using that algorithm
Yeah, I know
to
that
your,
part. Yeah,
yeah,
good.
you're using it to your benefit. You're making sure that it funnels your stuff.
Yeah.
And now you get to look at other finance channels and go, yeah, I can do that.
Well, that's one of the issues I have right now, is, you know, when I finish the day at work, I come home, I jump on YouTube, because there's specific, you know, podcasts and stuff I listen to and watch, and news, and I'm like, man, this is all I see, because I'm so used to watching the same thing repetitively, because they have content every day, and I'm like, oh, I wanna hear, see what they're saying. But yeah, man, I know there's gotta be more than just these 4 or 5 channels I'm watching on YouTube, because the algorithms just keep pushing the same stuff to me. I mean, it's good content, I don't have an issue with that, but I'm thinking, man, there's gotta be more in there.
Yeah, there's the packaging thing about getting the click. That's your thumbnail is the most critical thing out of all of it. Because if it doesn't get clicked, you could technically not have a great title, and if your thumbnail gets the attention, it's going to get a click. So it's the small hinge that swings the big door, so to speak. And then as far as like what thumbnails to use, what title you should use, and then what hook once they're inside the video. Otherwise, you got the click and they just dropped. That's why you see that free fall in your analytics right when it starts, and almost all videos have them. But
You're talking way above where I am.
well, at some point you're gonna go look at how one of your videos performed, and you're gonna see this line, and when it starts, it's gonna go like this, and in like 3 seconds, it's gonna go whop, and then you're hoping it doesn't just peg out to the bottom and go like this, and at some point it stops, and it's just natural, people's time, it's gonna go down a little bit, but you're looking for as even or as up as possible. And there's a lot, basically it would be beyond the scope of today, but there's a lot of ways to know what is proven in the way of thumbnails to get attention. Like if you look at like a comparison video, if you're comparing plants or fertilizers or cheap versus expensive, or you know, it could be cheap versus expensive as a product, which you think about, or cheap versus expensive as far as a consultant, or cheap versus expensive, you know, anything you can think of, you can do it. When you look at those, at the end of the day, being able to identify what type of video this is and what type of it's a comparison one. And then think, what are the channels that do the greatest when it comes to comparison to get the clicks? It's fitness. So you start exploring all these other channels that have nothing to do with yours, and you're like, wait a minute, there's this one that I keep seeing, and it's like a person, and it's like split down the middle, and this one either looks poor, or this one either looks dark and light, and it's the contrast, that's comparison. Or red is pain, green is good, or red is something negative, green is money. And you see that whether it's a gardening channel or a hoarding channel or a weighting channel, they're all the same. They're all the same. So there's a lot of things you can do to massively increase the clicks you can get on your thumbnail. And those are just called outliers. It's identifying outliers and pattern banking, which is.
I can tell you, I watch a lot of YouTube, I never really paid too much attention to the thumbnails, because I'm so comfortable with the people that I'm watching. The thumbnails aren't an issue.
You're a loyal,
Good.
you know, watcher, like, you know,
Yeah.
I used to watch MASH when I was a little kid. I mean, I know that song by heart, right? But I never really watched it until they actually started doing the MASH show, right?
Okay.
So you just got comfortable, you're probably
Yeah,
not used to
yeah,
watching
yeah,
the
so,
thumbnail.
so I'll start focusing on the thumbnails to see what they're actually showing.
I can't believe I said MASH.
What was the top show?
Of all shows.
What was the top show in the 30s?
I'll walk right out of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some monetizing with a small channel. It's an absolute myth that you need a big channel to monetize. As a matter of fact, channels, there's a style of content creation which is edutainment, which is the type that I like, which means you're teaching something but you're doing it in an entertaining way. But in those types of channels, you, from the beginning, you know you're trying to teach something, so it probably means you have something to sell. Correct? First thing you want to do if you want to sell something on YouTube, I mean from 0 subscribers, is set up an email catch-all, something to get emails and start building that list. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to sell anything. But once you've done that, and I would say even before you started your channel, you think of what that first product is you want to sell. I recommend that it's a digital product or some, because if you go into the physical product route, or if you go into something like print on demand as far as like shirts or hats or something like that, that doesn't appeal to everybody. But it would be very easy to come up with a digital product that did. What are some good examples of digital products that we've talked about over time? We talked about calculators that you can charge for. Somebody had Excel spreadsheets that were already built.
There's an accountant out there that gives you, I mean, some like stupid stuff in our industry, budget sheets.
Right.
There's a budget, a
Have
workflow
you
sheet.
seen Miss Excel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yep.
We actually went, if you go into ChatGPT, you can actually make a calculator for you. I made one for my son called Bar Math. And it said, how many drinks do you need before you go and approach a pretty girl? And I said, not too many, but just enough. And it also had some caveats. Did you catch her looking at you? Are you wearing new clothes? You get a haircut or whatever? And I said, put the inputs in there. I said, make the calculator for me. Make the code. And it writes out the code. Then you go into the actual agent. You say, okay, now make it for me. Within like 2 minutes, it made the calculator for me. And it worked. It was just, it's wild. So you can make calculators that you could give away as a digital product.
Yeah.
You know, how much, if DeSantis did cancel property tax, how much would I really save? Because that's after tax money, put in your tax bracket or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the calculators, are they restricted to be numerical only? Or could it be?
I did one for watering plants and said, how often do you need to water plants? So is it temperature, is it dry, is it a big plant, is it a small plant, you know, where do you live, et cetera. And which plant is it, you know, is it a bonsai, is it a this plant, and so it makes.
It's a literal calculator, so the output's a number?
The output can be whatever you want it to be, based on what you sell.
Yeah. What?
What was that big website that we found that was just all about
Yeah.
calculators?
You could buy pre-made digital, pre-made calculators and pre-made digital products. Pre-made digital products that you could sell. They're already made. You just go there and you buy them like $12. And you have pre-made digital products that you can sell and just pop into your email system. One thing that I recommend, and actually Ed did a great job on, is, we never got it, but Ed had a program which was called Thumbnail University. Yeah, Thumbnail University. I think the sweet spot is to come up with a digital product that costs $100. Like, or digital meaning, not a digital product, come up with an informational, deliverable online, course-like, whatever product for $100. There's so many things that we could do a training on and a webinar, and the beauty is nobody actually needs to be on the webinar. You just need to teach it and record it, and then have that available for $100. And let it be a thing that like everyone, almost everyone in your audience who could ever subscribe to your channel would be remotely interested in. And it sells. You sell a lot of it. And $100 is a good number.
We went to this one thing called Kajabi Live, which is all about
Yeah.
courses. You know, like you can sell like the $7 course. And so we came back and we bounced all this. So he decides he's going to do a course on the Amazon Influencer Program.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a little while to do it because we've never had courses before. And we're like, we're thinking we're going to do a $7 course.
Yeah.
$7, get you in my funnel, the whole thing gets you, get used to paying me, that kind of bullshit. Got it. So the kind of that was stuff because I think, what do you sell for, $159?
No, we started, well, what happened was it wound up being like 40 modules. Like, this doesn't fall into the quick training that I talk about. Come on, 40 modules. It's like $1,500 in editing to edit this thing. And I was like, I'm selling this thing for $7. I need to sell.
It took me 5 years to get back my money.
To just recoup my money. Like, this doesn't sound like a good deal. So I was like, I'm gonna put it for $100. I mean, now I'm not doing it every day, but I still sell a few a week. I only talked about it literally like twice. And at one point, somebody came up to me and said, I'm selling it for $100. $99.99.
You were at 149, I think, for a while.
No, $99.99. And then Raul came to me and says, hey, I have some people that I can sell this to that are not part of your community. Do you mind bumping the price for me for 200 so I can make $100 on the sale? I was like, yeah, no problem. And this was like a Friday. So before leaving the office, I bumped it to $199.99. I said, hey, it's updated. I thought I did it just for like a code on his, but that doesn't let you work like that. I continued selling the same amount that I was selling at $199, and he got some sales in too for his. But now, it's to this day, it's selling for $199, and it still sells a few a week. And I don't even talk about it anymore. I'm not creating videos on it, nothing. It's just found.
My TikTok is a free book program for $497, and I ran a Facebook ad for, I think, 60 days, and I have over 200 people who want to buy into the program. But I had hard copies. I created 3 books.
Right.
And I sold those 25 copies, and I have like over 200 people that I went in and said, well, I got to coach these 25 people. I said, well, it's the new year, you buy in, but it's not $497, it's going to be $997 because the demand is
Yeah.
there. So, but you know what? They're still, they still take my emails, they're you know, showing up to the little videos I do and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I would be fearful of, now I have a 7-book program, but I was only selling the 3-book program to get them in the door at $497. I can easily, once they learn the 3-book program, say, okay, here's the other 4 books to really ramp up. The
Sure.
business.
Yeah.
So, and that was gonna be at $29.97. So $497 to $29.97. And that's kind of like, you know, I'm gonna move that to YouTube as well, because the Facebook ad did well. It was a short video. It says, hey, the economy's changing. You wanna know how to make some money quickly? So
Right.
I ran that. People are like, because, I mean, people are struggling.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I want to know how to make money with that. That was exciting. And I'm still doing it. I use High Level. Are you guys familiar with that?
I'm not a fan of it, but a lot of people use it. Go high level.
Yeah, because it's easy, because like I can create 100 emails, spread them out for the next 6 months, so I don't have to work anymore. The SMSs I can drop instantly right from my phone. You know, I have my landing pages. I can create the kind of like the school within it.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of video content, and I don't have a lot of time for all that right now, but I'm trying to figure out how to build those videos just to drop them in there. So, but yeah, I love some of the products online.
I mean, the thing you talk about, the upsell on the additional books is a great way to do it. Once somebody's kind of raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this, have something else to sell them. Somebody I know sold over 100,000, get over 100,000 courses on how to make homemade ice cream. And there's an upsell on how to make homemade whipped cream. You know, I mean, you can do it on anything. So like, whatever your topic is, I would recommend doing something like that, like some short little thing that you can teach, and just make sure your content is around that and have it out there from the beginning. But if you, and to get people to figure out, this was a shocker for me, because I thought it was one of those tools that they had but that nobody ever used. Use the community polls. You have polls that you can post out to your community. A really large amount of people engage with those polls.
That's what YouTube?
It's on YouTube. You go to your YouTube channel and you go to polls and you create a poll, like, and you could create a poll a day, and they engage with those polls, and you can clearly see what it is that they want, what do they want you to create content on, and that sort of thing. But just create. I mean, at a few hundred people, those first few hundred people that subscribe to your channel, those are diehards. Like you don't even look that shiny yet, and they subscribed. So like they're like primed to buy from you. And I think if you create like a training, I think the easiest way to do it is create a training that sells for about $100, and consistent. You should be able to consistently sell that thing for $100.
Well, my goal is to, once they come in to my world, and I sell them 3 books, and then, you know, I train them on that. I give them 30 days coaching. It's a half hour each week for the first 4 weeks. And then after that,
One-on-one or a group?
It's all virtual.
All right.
Yeah, these students are all over the U.S. Because when I did the Facebook ad, I didn't put Florida. I just went, all over the place. And I have a client, a student in Hawaii, one in Texas, one up in Chicago.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah, it is exciting. My only fear is, and this is what I struggle with, I can give them all the tools that they need to be successful, but they don't take action. This guy in Texas, he was one of the first people to buy in. He's the only one not taking action. I'm so disappointed in him because it's like he was the first one that took the shot with him. And I was like, he gave me $500. I gave him the book, and I always put in bonuses. I sent out a nice box with the 3 books and a certificate saying congratulations, you're a mortgage of a millionaire now. And then I put in a bonus book, and the bonus book is Think and Grow Rich. It's an $8 book on Amazon. I just buy it and throw it in there at added value. And I have the first coaching call, which is they getting to know me getting to know them, see if it's an actual good connection, because I don't really want to spend too much time on them to build something themselves. And he was saying all the right things, and he was telling me why he got into the program. And the reason he got into the program is because he's getting older, his son has some disease or something, and he's fearful and he needs to make money. I'm like, okay, then you gotta do this. I said the second coaching call, I want you to prepare your goals. I want to know everything about all your goals so I can keep you accountable. He never showed up for the second coaching. And then I sent him an email. I'm like, hey, listen, here's the link. Get on the calendar.
Yeah, that's actually like very common with course.
I know, but the thing is, when you know the person's backstory and you know that what I have can help them out, and he's telling me his struggles and his concerns, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm not free, but if you want this, I'm going to help you out. And he didn't take the action.
You can't attach to the outcome.
No, I have too many people I'm working with. It's just, I'm just sharing right now. The guy's been in the program for like 3 months. I don't even talk to him. I mean, I send him the link, jump on the calendar. I'm not ignoring him, but it's all automated. So every week he's getting a link. All I have to do is click the button, say I want to speak to Sean at this time of day.
Well, it's great to hear that you actually care about
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it was a.
My goal is, my ultimate goal is, what I do is I do private money lending, and I do it here in the state of Florida. But one of the books I sell is 85 private money lenders that they can use to go out and lend money to people who are searching for money for real estate investing, whether it's commercial or residential. And the thing is, it's really easy money. You can make money in like 7 to 10 days if you find a client that borrows money from you. And I said, listen, I go out, just get one person that wants to borrow money from you. You invested $500. You give someone $100,000. You make 2 points, that's $2,000. You just made 3 times your initial investment in as little as 10 days. But you've got to let people know that you have access to this money. He's not doing it. But the other ones, I got this guy who's out of love. Oh man, he's blowing up my phone. Sean, what do I do first? Do you have a corporation? No. Okay. Let's get on your state registry and set you up a corporation. Okay, I did it. What's next? All right. Now you got to set up your bank account for that corporation. Okay. Well, before you do that, you got to get your EIN number. Okay, I'll do that. He's doing everything necessary to put someone in a position to start making a boatload of money. I love that.
Yeah, let's got a question here, and how do we monetize motivation and inspiration? My how-tos didn't do well, but motivation and inspiration does. Your podcast is motivation and inspiration. Is it motivation and inspiration around finance,
No,
or just in life?
it's not finance or music.
Right. Oh.
It's living your best life.
Okay. Have you thought towards monetizing the motivation and inspiration side of it? What was your thought? I have some ideas, but coaching. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Coaching is definitely one. I don't have firsthand experience and like like selling in the motivation inspiration side, but I've definitely gone to people at different times who did that. So kind of seeing it from that, like there was one that I followed for a while, Ali Abdal, and I guess it depends what you need motivation and inspiration around. Mine was more of like a feeling of not having enough control over certain areas of, especially around business and productivity. And this was a content creator with a very busy schedule who had these beautiful frameworks, and he just talked so zen and all this. I was like, yes, this is it. So like I bought, I don't know how much I bought. I think I've spent several $1,000s with this person.
Yeah.
So coaching.
Mine would be like life and career. And honestly, at the push of a lot of people I've coached over the years, they're like, well, what are you gonna do with this podcast? You should be doing this. And I'm like,
Yeah, okay. That's good.
So that's definitely like the direction that it's going in, and then it's as much as we want to show up for the people we're coaching, those one-on-ones are, they eat at your time, you know, so it's a matter of like building the platform where the coaching is happening through a program,
Yeah.
right? And then if you wanna do the one-on-one coaching, then there's the premium.
Yeah, I agree with that, and kind of on what both of you were saying. I have a product, and it used to be a lot bigger than what it was. It accidentally, the recording, actually this video that records these classes, started before COVID, and I was totally against it. It was someone in the group that said, start recording them and then add those videos afterwards and charge people $10 a month. And I was like, who would watch 2.5 hours of RAM? And we didn't even have these audio cubes back then. And sure enough, a bunch of people subscribed. And it was at $10 a month, so I mean, we got a bunch of subscribers, but it wasn't anything. COVID hit. And we raised it, over time, we raised it to $10, $20, $30, to $50 a month. And at our height, we were over 30,000 subscribers. So our monthly recurring revenue was just through the roof. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, think of all this other, our management and advertising services that we'd be able to do on this. It never really materialized. And I was like, what's going on? So I looked in the metrics. It was like a 3%. No, I think it was like 15% that actually took the time to fill out their profile for the course. Another less than 5% that went, 3 videos in. I mean, each one of these videos are 2.5 hours long. And I really, it made me feel like such a fraud, because everyone was like, you're banking so much money on these things, and you're telling people this is a great thing, that this is a great thing that they should take. And what happened was people treated it like a gym membership, and they just never canceled. And it stayed. It just stayed. And then now we don't have a lot of people in the membership, but the only reason is after, I guess, 4 or 5 years, the cards expire. And they don't redo the card. And if you reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to have you back in the vault, they were like, they didn't really know they had it anymore.
Yeah.
Or they're happy that they don't have to look to see where they unsubscribed. So I didn't restart another product like that, because I didn't like that feeling. I love the consulting side in areas that I like, but it's a heavy trade on time ever since I had kids. And it also doesn't really help my creativity. It's like, it takes a piece of you, and you're drained afterwards, and it's like, everyone's like, oh, you could do 6 or 7 a day. I was like, bro, if I do 3, I'm a zombie. Like, it took everything. Like, I'm just completely drained. So I took a course that they called itself a cohort, and what it was is a class that a bunch of people went in. I think he took 15 at a time, 15, 20 at a time, Ed. The cohort took 15, 20. There was a self-paced course that was amazing, but also had 2 weekly calls. So anyone that wasn't, and then I wasn't having to do a one-on-one with each one of them, but everyone's so much, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this thing. And I was like, yeah, but I gotta script this entire freaking course, and oh my God, it was taking forever. And then I had Lulu Levy on the podcast, and she said, don't create a course. And this ties into what we're talking about. Don't create this full-blown course. let all your people in your network know this is a thing I do. I'm doing a beta. I'm taking a limited amount of people. That's why it's only going to cost X. I did that and it worked amazing. So we're on our third cohort now, and about private label accelerators, like helping people go from like they want to start a brand, they might not even know how to open their Amazon account, to 6 weeks, you know your product, or I give you the product. And it's really been forget the money side of it. The money side's been nice, but it's been really rewarding because I'm able to scratch that itch on at the end of the day, we're creating content, and it's more than just a money grab. The money's like to make sense of our time. But it's really rewarding because you're helping so many people out. They're getting real results, not like this guy you described on, client one. And then they're telling other people because they're getting this great result. So it's great. Yeah, but it's
kind of in a group setting.
It is.
Which makes your time more valuable instead of having to do one-on-one coaching. You're doing more of a group coaching with them. So
yeah, and then somebody like, say John learned something last week, and then somebody on the call asks it, John wants to flex a little bit and give that answer. So John might even answer some of that for me on there, and John being able to teach it helps solidify him knowing it better, because I think teaching allows you to get like a greater degree of mastery on a subject. So he's starting to grow by doing that. I'm saving a little bit of the voice, and yeah, it's
also validating the course too, because now he's had a little success. So even though you may not have done anything at all, John's now pulled the trigger on something, and it's like, well, if John can do it, I can do it. So I'm gonna do it. The next time I'm gonna ask a question, I'm gonna go find something out.
yeah, I'm new to the whole cohort thing. We're only in cohort 3, so I don't feel right to recommend everyone should do a cohort. But I'm really liking it from. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Who did you say can make people better lives?
No, it's to live your best life,
Right.
basically.
So,
And not just watch MASH.
but
Not just watching that.
But who, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I forget your name? Sean.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to pick on Sean,
Sure.
but.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
But you need,
No, he's helping.
but I think you should probably focus on like whose life are you helping to live a better life?
So-
Is it mommies in distress? Is it business owners? So maybe your audience is too broad.
Yeah, so I know that like in setting up podcasts, one of the things that they talk about is to like really like be very narrow on your niche. And initially I started that way, but it's a matter of like people who are feeling stuck in life. I had someone the other day who runs a program called Mama Zen on there, and it's for like women going through postpartum. I've had perimenopause, menopause, but then I've had like my guest last week, he's, a lot of these are authors, right? Because they're selling something too. So he's like a senior, God, what is the word? It's not senior lecturer. He's a senior fellow at Harvard, and he's got a couple books, and the book that he's just recently released is called Conflict Resilience, right? So he was my guest last week. The week before that, I had a former CIA officer on there. But what is he talking about? He's talking about data privacy and stuff like, so it really ranges, but ultimately it's about you being at your best, whatever that is. So can I narrow it down?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess, right? But when you're new and you can guess, I had someone who was on Mindset, right? And this is a 4-way amputee who's climbed the Himalayas,
See, but that seems like it's a fit for the show.
who sails around the world, right? So it's like mindset. It's about not being stuck. It's
But I don't know if like, if I watch your show and your guest is about menopausal woman,
yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna watch your show again.
yeah. And it was supposed to be women's
I'm-
health initially, but
I'm super hesitant to like vomit a bunch of suggestions because I know how crazy it is at episode 22.
yes.
And if you were to look at my episode 22, I think I was a little more focused on it, but I did so many things that I would recommend now.
Yeah.
The one thing I would throw out,
Yeah.
be careful with authors
Yeah.
or anyone that's doing the podcast circuit,
Okay.
because podcast listeners listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And if they've heard this person before,
Yeah.
they were like, I don't need to listen to it again.
Yeah.
Or your title needs to communicate an angle that you're taking with this person
Right.
that none of them did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it tanks the listenership.
Yeah, so great point, because one of the things I actually do before I have a guest on the podcast is I watch content, their other content that's on podcasts and stuff, and I try not to repeat anything. Now, I don't know if in the YouTube world that's enough, that the content is a little different, right? But, you know,
Me having like my work hat on, which is so bad because we're all just like talking, and hearing, I've spoke to you twice.
yeah,
I think you'd be phenomenal for solo episodes. You seem like, it's a little bit, but you could get those same stories
yeah,
and turn them how you want. And,
Yeah.
and you're strong at speaking, you're very knowledgeable, you have an awesome story and background, just the bits that I know.
yeah,
It initially seems like when I did solo shows versus guests,
yeah.
the solo shows wildly outperform guests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes production on YouTube much easier. It
Yeah.
makes hooks massively easier.
Yeah,
And you could still bring in the topic of, say, this Harvard professor,
yeah,
right? But you could talk about it as a story you heard and your takeaway and your thoughts on that. Yeah, it's a very powerful format. Right now, a lot of people can't pull it off because it does require, if you're gonna bring video in, there has to be some charisma there. You have that. And you have to be stronger. There's a certain level of speaking that you need to be able to do, but it's very obvious that you can pull that off. I would consider it, like, you know you can delete it. Just record two solo episodes on 2 topics, and then make a decision there. Just say, Carlos, that was horrible, or thank you.
I think of, for example, like a Mel Robbins, she does interviews and then she does solo stuff too.
Yeah, but people,
Wow, like, what?
yeah. But it's Mel Robbins. Have you gone back and listened to Mel Robbins, like early days Mel Robbins?
No.
I only,
Probably a little comparable, right?
no, I only have because GC loves everything Mel Robbins. So like, I like to get creators and go back to the beginning. And she did a lot of solo.
Yeah.
And people connect with her. And then once you're connected to that person, you're bringing a guest, I'm into that guest. Because if you're into it, I'm into it.
So could it be a combination of both?
It totally could. But what would happen is, it sounded like a second ago you mentioned, I'm a new podcast and I got to take guests. You go from, I can be very picky about guests because I can fill my calendar with solos.
Eventually, right?
I think you could pull off solos now. I bet you if you did one or, I'd bet a lunch, coffee, anything, that if you did 1 or 2 solo recordings, you'd be like, oh my God, what was I running from solos for?
Not that I'm apprehensive about it, but actually I am. My hesitation comes from, like, at least when I'm bringing on a guest, there's a topic. I feel like I know I can AI this, but, you know, like, eventually, like, what script am I gonna use? No? It
No.
works.
So you're a person that when you hear something or a topic, you don't have your own opinion on it?
Yeah, sure.
You've shared great insights on this. As a matter of fact, here on first day, I mentioned something like I'm not into 10-year goals, and you came back with something making me question whether I should revisit 10-year goals. So like you supported it, you saw both sides, like you had an opinion on it. That's a podcast episode.
If you reverse, I'm just gonna go on real quick. If you reverse engineer your 10-year goals to today, you're gonna find out very quickly what's actually important.
See, that's how the show should start, and then it gets into the show. That was your clip to start the show.
You saw how I said it? Like,
Yeah, but that's how it is.
Yeah, you brought up the figure.
That's how it is. You have some prompts sitting right there in front of you, and just go.
But
I was probably thinking, Chris, we've never talked 10 years goals. Because it's personal. It's for you, right? Like, it's like what, if you start 10 years is like daunting. Especially, like, I'm 52, right? So when I think back 52 years, right, every year is different. 10 years, even more. Like, how can you plan for 10 years? But you'll find out quickly what's actually important to you.
But
If you're thinking 10 years.
why don't you record a solo episode while that's raw and use this? I went out on a Saturday with my husband to this thing.
why do you need a guest for that?
You're right.
You don't. A guest would hold you back because you'd be forced to go at their cadence.
And I think that you mentioned something too, you said, I just want to make money. It's going to be hard to make money when you got some author and some menopausal people, and you reckon somebody gets your $7 offer, is what you're really trying to show them is, you know, this is,
And
it's
I
all
guess-
about goal planning, and somebody,
Yeah.
for $7, I drop it in there, start your goal planning by doing this. We also have a cohort that you can jump on for $39.
Yeah.
They're at $49.99 a month, and
Yeah.
through a 30-day program, we'll tell you how to get your life on track, or plan for the year, whatever that is.
Yeah, when you go, so when you open up the door being able to do solos, it really helps your interviews, because you get to look at your episodes on whatever channel, but especially podcasting, you get to look at it as a catalog of content.
Yeah.
And then you can say, okay, I'm creating content that when someone I'm working with has an issue, I can answer it and link them to the episode that best helps, because you can control that when you record it. And then you look at it and be like, okay, there's areas here that I need to be able to address with some of these people. I don't have firsthand experience. Who is that person that has that great firsthand experience that I'd love to get on the show and specifically talk about that, because the only thing I'm looking for is to fill a gap in my catalog of content. So but it starts with being able to do solo episodes, and it just, I mean, I see plenty of people that I'm like, please do not go solo. I had a co-host at one point, and I was like, she shouldn't have done solos, and you could do solos, you know, like.
But also, she had a very, very tough accent, so very difficult.
Yeah, but it was beyond the accent. There was, yeah.
So we got a little bit of that in there too, but it was very hard to watch and listen to, so you have to have that likability, whether it's the intonation or the raising and lowering.
Yeah, you have the natural likability. That's the word. That you have that.
The holster, I mean.
He's going like,
You know,
he's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Something's
No.
gonna go, and probably later on in the evening, they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, hey, remember what we're gonna do on Sunday? I'm gonna do this. Do you mind if I do this? It's gonna be solo work. I was like,
Yeah, I jump right in, that's the thing.
Yeah, but just, I think getting this topic, you don't have to air it. I'm not saying trying to get a plug for like Wizards of Econ, but like it's so raw right now. You have your body language is involved. Even if you don't get it on video, capture it on audio, and just listen to it afterwards. Like just jot down like 4 bullet points, and just don't go wide. Just say it's about 10-year goals. That's a great, very specific title on, you know, do 10-year goals work? Yeah, do 10-year goals work?
I start my goals any time of the year.
Right.
I am gonna say that. Don't wait till January 1st.
Yeah.
By January 31st, you have it done.
I have two questions. So clipping is something you do in the beginning?
No,
No.
Ah.
It's
long form,
long form?
clipped, with highlights. So think about highlight reels for
But
baseball.
what did you mention where she said, hey, in front of your finger, you should start with that? You know, was
Well,
that?
That's a hook, that's a hook.
A hook.
Oh, I think you said clip. And then the second thing you said was, then move to cohort. What's a cohort?
A cohort's just it's a class. It's a group. It's a group. So we have a class and a group goes through. The benefit of a cohort type course is that if you have a course, you need to always be selling. Like it's a static course. When you stop selling it, it stops sells. A cohort, you have a very defined, we close because it's for a prescribed amount of time, and you need to be sold, however many you sold by X date, that's who goes through the class. It's closed. You can get on a waiting list. So usually you accumulate, and I'm already seeing it, we accumulate a waiting list that when we're almost done with it, we just hit up our waiting list, so we don't need to gear up the whole team to get on launch mode or stay on launch mode, which is exhausting. All your content needs to be about it. Now, when you're not on launch mode, you're creating engaging content. You're answering things like, you're answering people's objections in emails. And they keep hearing it. And then when they hear, we got this thing open that answers all this stuff and they've been consuming your stuff, it's easy to get them on a wait list. It's a very, our launches so far have been under 2 weeks. I think we can get launches down to 48 to 72 hours.
So launch goes into a cohort, which is a class.
It's a fixed number of students in the class. Either we set a number or that's the number we got.
And that's defined as a cohort?
That's a cohort, a group, a grouping.
So think about it like, it's a self-guided course, there's homework that you need to do. You can show up to this week's meeting, let's say it's 10 weeks long, with the rest of the group, moderated by Carlos, who's gonna walk you through answering Q&A that you have, hey, set up for the next week's cohort, et cetera. So you've got this course, It's self-guided to a certain extent that you can or cannot, don't have to show up with, guided by the mentor. And you got half the people that are creative, you already got another one going. So when you first talked about your series of books,
Yeah.
I immediately thought cohort, and I think that's what you did too.
And then when somebody graduates, we stick them in an alumni chat group. So all the classes will eventually, once you've graduated, be given access to that alumni group, currently for life with no additional recurring monthly. But if I can add sufficient value there after the fact, I'm sure I could turn that into a, if you want continued support into being able to stay in here and access all of our stuff, here's a monthly.
Or there's also all the affiliate stuff that could be
Yes, which is very nice.
Which could be related to people like, oh, you want to create a newsletter now? Well, you need to use this company called Sparkloop and set
Yes.
up a newsletter and sign up here, I have a 10% discount code, and now you get money from that because your alumni group is now paying you your affiliate stuff. So I think that's I don't know, software or whatever that is.
Yeah, the alumni group so far looks really good too when you have a new offering. You're like, hey, I got a new offering.
That's who you're gonna pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've bought from you before, they like you.
That's where it's like, hey, if you find a deal, give me a call, we'll work it together. That's all I'm trying to do. But they gotta buy in, because I wanna know that they're all in. And if they are, the next level is like, hey, you find a deal, I'll put it together for you, and we'll just split commissions. I got a whole master plan.
Yes, it's, again, I know we're talking about money and it sounds a little wishy-washy. Maybe it's the end of the year, me getting soft or whatever, but it's very rewarding personally to do the cohorts. Yeah, I leave, some consulting calls are amazing. A lot of the consulting calls, most of the time, are very draining. I get off the cohort energized. A cohort call, I'm like pumped.
So I bring these people, they buy in, teach them what I do.
Hold on, stop, sorry. They join your cohort. If they buy in, but you won't know that until they take the cohort class with you. At the end of the class, they have all the knowledge and expertise to go hunt and share the deals with you.
Yeah, I don't have classes per se. I've already prepared the books. So it's like, hey, you got the books. You get 4 half-hour coaching calls with me. After that,
Why would you do that though? Why don't you have 4 half-hour coaching calls with 20 people?
because it's when they come in. They don't all come in all at once.
That's why a cohort says.
Right, that's the switch on the cohort. On one of them, you're gonna constantly be needing to take those calls. On this one, you just know, listen, every other month on the 15th, I host one call.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get to that, because right now, like I said, I only purchased 25 cents of the books.
Oh, it sounds like you're doing good with them.
Yeah, so I've already sold the books, but it came in over 60 days. So, I can't wait for the first guy, say, oh, you gotta wait 60 days to have your first coaching call. I want them to get started right away. So, send the link. The first weekend, because the goal is, you have 30 days to learn this, and then you're on your own unless you wanna pay for coaching. If you wanna pay for coaching, then I'm gonna teach you more. So I can't, like if someone comes in on the 35th day and someone comes in on the second day, they're moving at a different pace because they get a half hour each week for the first 4 weeks.
That's the great thing about a cohort is that they're all on the same pace and the same cadence because you're gonna run out of you.
Yeah, but my issue is this, I run Facebook, so someone can sign up at like 2 in the morning. The next day, they're gonna get an email from me with, hey, congratulations, you bought in, your books will be sent to you in the next 5 days.
And our live 30-day, your live 30-day session starts on this day.
Well, I overnight the books.
Fine. But then-
So during that first week, we're having the first coaching call, because that's part of the email. Well, part of the sales, if you go to the landing page, you're gonna see the offer, and part of that is the 4 coachings, and the first coaching is that first week you buy in. And that's where,
You sound like you have a good funnel. I'm just saying, if you wanna scale it, if you wanna truly scale it and make mass production on this, I would suggest more group effort. You can still offer a higher ticket for that one-on-one.
well, I can flip over to the cohorts after they all get through 30 days. I'm like, hey guys, I'm going live, it's $97, jump in, I'm gonna
I don't fully understand everything about it, but I'm just telling you that if you're on scale, you're gonna do Facebook ads or whatever that is, there's only so many half an hours in the day for you to do one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat, and it's gonna get tiring.
Well, I can hire people to do coaching, because
They want you, sorry, they want you,
what's that?
they want you.
Well, they don't really know who I am,
Okay.
based on the marketing, the ad campaign.
I just don't wanna hand my baby out to somebody else that's not me. Carlos can come up here,
Well-
and he can have me host it for today,
Mhm.
but most people wanna come see Carlos, it's his thing.
Well, I mean, for,
I mean,
how I have the coaching set up, it's very simple. The first half hour, it's just Q&A. Tell me about you, why'd you get into the program, what's important about you? That's how I know the backstory, where they're coming from, what they're struggling for, what they need. So then I can say, hey, if, based on what you're telling me, this is what I'm gonna do. And then, that's the first half hour. Next week, is, on that, we end that call, like, hey, listen, you need to set your goals for next week. I need to know what your goals are, whether you're paying off debt, whether you're trying to, put your kid through college,
Let me ask
whether
you a
you're.
question. So you do a Facebook ad, and man, that thing hits. You got 60 people that signed up.
Well, they don't all sign up initially, they come through the funnel.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
you did a Facebook ad,
Yeah.
60 people sign up.
Red Bull.
I don't know what you're saying.
You have 60 people that signed up, and you
Well,
said.
signing up is not paid in. You can sign up to start getting the emails, but until
When's that one-on-one coaching start?
once they send the $500 to me.
So they sent you $500, you had 60 people that sent you $500, how's it gonna go?
I would love if that happened. I would love that, because then that would make it easier. Then I can say, hey, we're doing a Zoom, you know, but I'm not at that point right now. I get some at 2 in the morning, and then like 3-4 days later, I get some in the afternoon, and then it's always like.
Is mom picking us up?
No, you're gonna leave with me.
What you're suggesting, if I ran a Facebook ad, I had 60 people buy in, the next step is, okay guys, we're in, here's the Zoom link, we're going live to your first coaching calls.
It's just not gonna go,
Well, yeah, but I'm not at that point right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have 25 clients, and they came in,
Wouldn't it be nice to build that with it?
yes, of course.
Well, guys, let's,
Sorry.
no, that's good. That's what these sessions are about. We're gonna wrap up. This is our last meetup of the year. We return back on the 10th, so our next YouTube meetup is on the 10th. We do have a Discord. It's currently not very active because we just moved, migrated from Telegram, so anybody that wants to join the Discord. My goal is during this break, if you will, this Christmas break for no meetups, is to get the conversations and get the activity going on the Discord. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming out. Hope you keep coming out. Hope you found value with it, and thank you. And subscribe to the solo podcast. To your solo podcast.
I have to do a different channel for that?
No. I don't know. Well, no.
No?
It's still the same format. Your audio, the audio side of your stuff would still be audio, and when you put it on, it would actually perform better on YouTube. It'll actually, a solo would perform better on YouTube, and would require a lot less in post-production. You could give that to an editor and do all kind of cool B-roll. Oh, I'll show you now.